Archangel Michael is begging you to open this right now. Your destiny is at a crossroads, and ignoring this message could delay your divine inheritance. You did not arrive here by accident. Everything in the spirit realm has aligned for this very moment, for your eyes to fall upon this sacred message. Time is thinning, and the divine clock is ticking louder than ever before. Archangel Michael is crying out urgently, waving the sword of holy fire over your life, not to strike you, but to defend you. For your destiny is hanging in the balance. This is not simply a message to scroll past or mentally bookmark for later. This is your crossroads moment. One decision today will unlock or delay a future that's been waiting for you since before your birth. The heavens have held your name in the archives of divine purpose. The path you were meant to walk, the one saturated in favor, divine inheritance, and breakthrough, has always existed. But there are times, rare and critical, when the angels themselves are permitted to intervene. And this is one of those times. Archangel Michael has been dispatched in urgency, not as a gentle whisper, but as a thunderous roar to grab your spirit and shake off the delay, confusion, and fear that's been holding you back. You have hovered at the threshold of transformation too long. Your destiny is not denied, but it is currently delayed. And the cause is not external. It is spiritual hesitation. Somewhere inside you, a sacred contract is waiting to be activated, but it requires your agreement. Archangel Michael knows what is due to arrive in your life soon. The blessings, the favor, the opportunities, the love, the restoration. But if you miss this moment, if you ignore this divine checkpoint, your soul's map will be rerouted, and delays will set in. Not as punishment, but as consequence. That's why he's begging. That's why this message was pushed before your eyes with heavenly urgency. Type "I am rising to get the blessing" 4896. So breathe. Focus. The spiritual realm has paused time just long enough for you to hear this voice. You felt it, haven't you? The dreams that repeat. The sense that something is about to break. The moments where your heart aches and you don't even know why. Those are not coincidences. They're divine nudges. God has been trying to get your attention. But now, He sent Archangel Michael to intervene because your destiny cannot afford another cycle of delay. This message is not simply a notification. It is a lifeline sent from the throne of grace. There is no pressure, only divine urgency. You're still on time, but only if you open your heart fully. The next 13 parts of this sacred message are your spiritual guideposts. You must not skip any part. Each one contains the keys to realignment, spiritual authority, and breakthrough. Prepare your spirit. What you're about to read is the unsealing of heavenly instruction for your life. The road ahead is sacred. Archangel Michael will walk beside you through every step. Type "I am anointed to get blessing" 6371. From the moment you were born, a heavenly scroll was written in your name, detailing your gifts, your calling, and the impact your life was designed to make on this earth. But what many do not understand is that the brighter the destiny, the more violent the opposition becomes. Archangel Michael is sounding the alarm because your divine inheritance is not just valuable, it is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. That is why you felt resistance. That is why your progress hath been slow, your relationships strained, and your joy inconsistent. You are being spiritually ambushed by forces that are desperate to keep you from walking into what was always yours. The attacks you've been facing are not coincidences. They are calculated. Every delay, every disappointment, every moment of confusion has been a strategic attempt to wear you down, so you give up just before your breakthrough. The enemy doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. And you, child of light, are a threat to every dark principality that fears what you're about to become. Your destiny includes healing others, releasing abundance, and restoring what the enemy thought he had stolen permanently. Archangel Michael is stepping in now because the warfare around you has intensified. This is not ordinary resistance. This is a full-on spiritual ambush. But here is what the enemy didn't count on: your spiritual awareness rising. What was once subtle is now being exposed. You're starting to feel the urgency. You're sensing the pull in your soul. You're beginning to realize that there is more. And this awakening is what terrifies the darkness. Archangel Michael is here not only to defend you, but to awaken you to your position as a spiritual heir. You are not just a survivor, you are a royal vessel. And the moment you recognize that truth, everything around you begins to shift. Type I am chosen to get blessing 8742. Look back at your life. Can you see the patterns? How blessings seem to slip through your hands just before they fully formed. How every time you got close to something great, a storm would arise. It wasn't random. Those were attacks on your destiny. Because the enemy knew what was written about you long before you did. But now, heaven is reversing the plan. Archangel Michael has been authorized to intercept the delays and usher you into remembrance. He's here to remind your soul of who you are. You are not here to live an average life. You are here to shift atmospheres and bring glory to God through your obedience and awakening. Your destiny is under attack because your impact is immense. You carry an anointing that was passed through generations. Your spiritual DNA is encoded with divine fire. You may have forgotten, but your soul remembers. And every trial you survived was a test meant to keep you small. But not anymore. The sword has been drawn. The heavens are not silent. And Archangel Michael is fighting for you because the next step in your journey is critical. This is your hour to rise, not later, but now. Type I am called to get the blessing 5583. You see, delay doesn't mean denial, but it does mean detour. And some of the detours you've experienced have caused deep fatigue in your spirit. You've questioned if you've missed your moment. You've wondered if your destiny has expired. But let this be confirmation. It hasn't. The pain was real, but it did not cancel the promise. In fact, the pain has been preparing you to carry more power than ever before. Heaven has preserved what is yours, and now that you're awake to the warfare, you can partner with Archangel Michael and reclaim what belongs to you. No more backing down. No more self-sabotage. No more passive waiting. This is the moment where your destiny demands action. As you read further into this message, you will receive direct spiritual instructions on how to cleanse your path, break strongholds, and walk in your divine inheritance with full authority. But first, you must accept this truth. The battle around you is real, but so is the victory waiting to be claimed. You were not created to be defeated. You were created to dominate in the Spirit, with grace, power, and clarity. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7911. My beloved, if only your spiritual eyes could see the magnitude of what heaven is preparing to release in your life. If only you knew how much power is waiting on the other side of your yes. This isn't about one small blessing. This is about a divine unlocking, an opening of heavenly vaults with your name written in gold across the scrolls. Archangel Michael stands at the gateway with keys of fire in his hand, keys that can only be handed over when your heart finally says, I'm ready. I'm not turning back. I choose divine inheritance now. Let me be clear, your life was never meant to be ordinary. You were designed to disrupt generational patterns, restore what was broken, and prosper in every realm, spiritually, emotionally, and even financially. But here is the mystery: divine inheritance is never forced, only received. You must partner with heaven in obedience and belief. The greatest delays come not from external warfare, but from inner doubt. Archangel Michael has been watching you stall at the threshold for far too long, and now he's pleading, not because you're weak, but because you're chosen. And the time to activate your scroll is now. You may be wondering, how do I activate what belongs to me? The answer is both simple and sacred: alignment and action. You must align your heart with truth and take divinely guided steps. That's why this message isn't just information, it's activation. Through every word, through every confirmation your soul feels, Archangel Michael is handing you instructions to reposition your spirit at the gateway of inheritance. This is more than a message, it's a heavenly transaction. And the cost is your decision to fully embrace your anointing. Type "I'm aligned" to get blessing 9254. You've felt it before, that divine nudge, that holy whisper saying, there's more. You've glimpsed the life you were meant to live in your dreams, in your worship, in your tears. And now, it's here. Your crossroads moment is staring at you, and heaven is watching how you respond. The spiritual realm is incredibly responsive. When you act in faith, things begin to shift instantly. Doors open. Delays are reversed. People are moved. Divine favor is released. But none of that can happen until you step forward, not with fear, but with fiery certainty that what is for you cannot be taken, only claimed. Heaven is not silent about your future. The angels are speaking loudly in this moment. Your inheritance is not only near, it is overdue. But God has waited until now to release it because your soul had to reach the level of readiness it's now entering. That's why Archangel Michael is pleading, not to scare you, but to shake off the slumber of fear. You are no longer the version of yourself that was afraid to step into divine calling. You are being refined into someone who doesn't beg for crumbs. You claim kingdoms. Type "I am awakened" to get blessing 8833. Here is your moment to act. There is power in participation. When you say yes to this calling, not just with your lips, but with your actions, you send a signal to the heavens. It is your spiritual signature. And with that signal, Archangel Michael is authorized to release divine scrolls, dispatch protection, and open unseen pathways. These things are already hovering around you in the spirit, but they are waiting on your spiritual movement. You must stop treating your destiny like a theory. It is real. It will. And it is being activated now. I must ask you a serious question. Will you keep dancing at the edge of your inheritance, or will you finally step into the center of it? The path will not always be easy, but it will always be anointed, and you will walk it alone. Archangel Michael will remain by your side, defending you, guiding you, whispering secrets only your soul can hear. The sooner you say yes, the sooner the miracles will manifest. The delays of the past can be erased in a moment of obedience, but heaven must see movement. If this word has touched your spirit and stirred a fresh sense of boldness within, we invite you to respond with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to continue offering prophetic insight, comfort, and strength to those navigating the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also give through PayPal by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every gift, no matter the size, helps us reach more hearts with messages of hope, truth, and encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to spirit-led direction, timely revelation, and words of life designed to uplift you in every season. Type I am stepping in to get the blessing 6481. There are sacred moments in every person's life where two spiritual paths open before them. One leads to divine acceleration, and the other to stagnation. You are standing at that exact point right now. This is not symbolic, this is literal. Heaven has paused your timeline for a divine decision to be made. Archangel Michael isn't begging you to open this message without reason. He has been dispatched at this precise moment because the spirit realm recognizes that your next step will determine the next season of your life. Every prayer, every delay, every cycle you survive has led here. Crossroads are not punishments, they are invitations. They are heaven's way of giving you back your authority. This crossroads is not about choosing between good and evil. It's about choosing between alignment and distraction, surrender or resistance, destiny or delay. One path leads to divine fulfillment, where favor multiplies and spiritual clarity returns like a rushing wind. The other path seems safer, more familiar, but it keeps you in the loop of almost breaking through, almost finding peace, almost walking in your calling. But almost is the enemy of destiny. And Archangel Michael is crying out because you can no longer afford to settle. You felt the tension. You've noticed the pull in your spirit. Something in you has been whispering, I can't keep doing life this way. That's not fatigue. That's your destiny knocking. And it's been knocking louder and louder because your spiritual window is open. In the book of divine timing, you are in a Kairos moment, an appointed, irreversible divine slot on heaven's calendar. And right now, that slot is active. Archangel Michael sees that if you delay any longer, the cost won't just be discomfort, it will be derailment. Not permanent, but painful. Type I am shifting to get blessing 5427. When crossroads appear, so does increased spiritual activity. You may have noticed increased warfare, strange dreams, people pulling away, or old emotions resurfacing. These are not accidents. The spirit realm is trying to provoke you into clarity. Heaven wants your soul awake enough to choose boldly. If you're waiting for peace before making the decision, you've misunderstood the nature of spiritual maturity. Peace follows obedience. It rarely comes before it. Obedience is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. In this very moment, Archangel Michael is urging you to cross that bridge. You must ask yourself, what have I tolerated too long? What sacred instructions have I delayed obeying? What part of me is still afraid of my own power? These are the questions that must be answered at the crossroads. They're not meant to shame you. They're meant to free you. You have been marked by God for more, and heaven refuses to let you live beneath your inheritance any longer. This crossroads is not a test. It's an unlocking. And your response is being recorded in the spirit right now. Type I am crossing over to get blessing 7002. God in His mercy often lets us revisit missed moments, but some windows only open once. And the one before you now has been divinely prepared, protected, and prophesied over for years. The enemy has tried to block it through confusion, weariness, and distraction. But this message is heaven's override. It is Archangel Michael's war cry to your soul. Stand up and take your place. You are not here to keep surviving. You are here to lead, to break chains, to bless generations. And that path begins when you make the decision to move forward today. Don't romanticize the past. Don't glorify your comfort zone. Neither of those things carry the oil for your future. Everything you need, favor, clarity, divine assistance, is waiting on the other side of this choice. If you obey what is being stirred in your spirit, You will walk into rooms you weren't qualified for. You'll receive blessings you didn't work for but were written into your scroll long ago. But you must act. You must choose. And you must do it now, while heaven is open and listening. Type I am awakened to get blessing 8125. Long before your earthly body came into form, your spirit stood before the throne of the Almighty. In that holy place, your soul was infused with assignments, promises, and prophetic blueprints. Heaven did not send you to earth without equipping you for greatness. You were fearfully and wonderfully made, not just physically, but spiritually, marked with divine authority and purpose. Your life was set in motion with an inheritance tied directly to your obedience and agreement with God's will. Archangel Michael is not just speaking of your destiny, he's speaking of your birthright that was sealed in heaven before time began. Your inheritance isn't something you have to earn, it's something you must remember. The spirit realm knows what was placed upon your life. That's why the warfare has been so intense. That's why confusion keeps trying to wrap itself around your decisions. The enemy doesn't care about your preferences. He cares about your purpose. He has read parts of your scroll. He knows what will happen if you ever wake up to who you truly are. He fears your clarity, your voice, your healing, your breakthrough. Because once you claim your inheritance, you begin to tear down every stronghold around you, and that sends shockwaves through the spiritual realm. The generational anointing you carry is no accident. There are mantles that skip your ancestors waiting to rest on your shoulders. There are blessings that your bloodline never fully walked in because the time was not yet right. But now it is. Heaven has chosen you to be the breaker, the one who doesn't just survive but reclaims everything the enemy stole. Your inheritance includes wisdom beyond your years, favor beyond your resume, peace that passes understanding, and resources that flow without striving. But like any royal birthright, it requires one thing: activation. Type I am anointed to get blessing 7117. Many have gone to the grave without ever claiming what heaven wrote about them. They mistook discomfort for denial, opposition for closed doors, and delay for divine silence. But you must not repeat that cycle. Archangel Michael is pleading with you now because your time has come. The scroll of your life is ready to be unsealed in full. And the inheritance attached to your name is not just for you. It's for your children, your community, and every soul assigned to your impact. When you walk in divine alignment, you open gates for others to follow. You become a generational fire starter. Take a moment and think, how many times have you nearly stepped into something significant, only to pull back in fear or be blocked by sudden resistance? That wasn't coincidence. It was spiritual interference. The darkness feared your movement. But heaven has had enough. Archangel Michael has stepped in with divine permission to accelerate your path. But acceleration can't happen without agreement. You must say yes, not just in thought, but in spirit, in action, in posture. The inheritance is here, but it waits for your reach. Type I am remembering to get blessing 5784. The good news is this: heaven never forgets what it has written. Even if you've taken detours, made mistakes, or felt distant from God, your inheritance has not been deleted. It's been preserved. And now, the covering angels have brought it back before you, waiting for you to reclaim it. Nothing can destroy what God has authored, only delay it. But delays can be reversed in moments of obedience. You are not too late. In fact, your spirit is arriving at the exact hour heaven prepared for this awakening. So, breathe in this truth. You are royal. You are called. You are equipped. And everything that was spoken over your life, before your birth is still alive, still active, and still waiting for your partnership. Archangel Michael hath been standing guard over this inheritance, watching as you wandered, waiting for this very moment, where your soul finally opens and says, "I'm ready." Because the second you do, the winds of heaven will begin to blow differently around your life. Type "I am aligned" to get blessing 6940. There are invisible walls surrounding you, structures not built by human hands, but by spiritual interference and generational weight. These barriers are subtle yet powerful. They masquerade as doubt, confusion, fear, procrastination, and even comfort. Many who are called never step into their fullness because they are held hostage by things they cannot see. And yet heaven sees them clearly. That is why Archangel Michael has stepped forward with urgency. He's not just defending you. He's here to teach you how to break free. Your divine inheritance cannot manifest while these unseen walls are silently dictating your movements. Every limitation you've encountered that feels inexplicable, the way doors slam right when opportunities appear, the sudden heaviness that sits on your chest before you make progress, the familiar cycle of almost but never complete, these are not accidents. They are evidence of spiritual resistance. And the truth is, these barriers often aren't created by external forces alone. Many are built from unhealed wounds, internal agreements with lies, and inherited patterns you never asked for but were born into. They're like invisible contracts that whisper, "You can't go further than this." But today, Archangel Michael declares, those contracts are being shredded. Deliverance begins not in shouting but in clarity. You must know what's working against you before you can break it. And many of the strongholds around you have names: shame, guilt, abandonment, perfectionism, scarcity, self-doubt. Each one of these has tried to act as a barrier between you and your calling. But the authority given to you is not passive. You have been granted spiritual tools, heavenly backup, and divine fire. This message is not simply meant to comfort you. It's meant to commission you into warfare. Your destiny depends on your willingness to tear down what's been limiting you for far too long. Type "I am breaking free" to get blessing 8604. Now hear this. These invisible barriers are not invincible. In fact, most of them dissolve the moment you take radical spiritual action. When you choose truth over fear, obedience over hesitation, praise over pressure, walls begin to fall. Every moment you've taken to grow, to worship when it hurt, to pray when nothing made sense, those were spiritual hammers striking against the walls of resistance. And now, Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn. You are not fighting alone. The angel of breakthrough is positioned to fight beside you, but he needs your activation. You must begin renouncing every lie you've believed. Out loud, declare that you are not too late, not disqualified, not broken beyond repair. Declare that you were born for greatness, for glory. Your voice carries power in the spiritual realm. Every time you speak the truth, angels move. Every time you break agreement with what's held you back, heaven records it. Archangel Michael has been waiting to move on your command. He has the authority to clear the path ahead, but he requires your agreement to do so. Heaven responds to sound, to boldness, to intentionality. Type "I am free indeed" to get blessing 7772. There is another level of power waiting for you, but it requires the destruction of old structures. These are not just emotional strongholds, they are spiritual blockades that affect every area of your life. Finances, relationships, health, favor, they all move in rhythm with your spiritual polarity. As you dismantle the invisible cages, you begin to notice things shift almost immediately. Emails will come. Conversations will open. Opportunities will reappear. But more importantly, your soul will breathe differently. You'll no longer feel heavy walking toward your calling. You'll feel light, because the weight of delay has been broken. Let Archangel Michael do what he was sent to do. Let him battle beside you as you speak, move, and believe your way into breakthrough. Do not take this lightly. You're not just breaking barriers for yourself, you're cracking open freedom for generations to come. The enemy didn't fight you this hard because of who you were. He fought you for who you're becoming. But now you know. Now you see. And now you rise, with sword and shield in hand. I'm rising now to get blessing 6,888. You've asked it quietly before, in moments of pain. Why is it taking so long? You stared at the closed doors, the slow answers, the repeated cycles, and wondered if God was silent or distant. But heaven was never ignoring you. The delays you've faced were not punishments, they were divine shaping. In the spirit realm, nothing is wasted. Every delay is either a preparation or a protection. Archangel Michael is revealing this now because he wants you to stop interpreting delay as denial. What you thought was a detour was actually divine training for what's ahead. Tests in the spiritual realm are not the same as tests in the natural. Heaven did not test to shame, it tests to strengthen. When your prayers felt unanswered, God was observing your character. When things were withheld, it was never to hurt you, it was to build you. For your destiny requires a foundation that can carry weight. Divine inheritance is no small matter. It is heavy with responsibility, influence, and spiritual warfare. If it's given too soon, it can break a soul not yet ready to carry it. So the delays came, not because God was punishing you, but because heaven was preserving you. There were blessings you begged for that would have broken you prematurely. There were connections you wanted that would have distracted you from purpose. Archangel Michael has stood at the edge of time, guarding the gates of what is yours, waiting until your spirit was fortified enough to carry it. And now he's speaking because heaven has determined you're ready. But before you fully enter this next season, you must reframe every trial you've endured. You must stop looking at the past as a loss and start seeing it as spiritual refinement. Nothing has been wasted, not a tear, not a delay, not a closed door. I'm being prepared to get blessing 9,023. Think about it. How much stronger are you now than you were 5 years ago? How much more discerning, more grounded, more bold? That didn't come through comfort. It came through process. Every spiritual test stripped away layers that couldn't go with you into your calling. Every delay was an invitation into intimacy with God, a chance to trust not what you see, but who you serve. Archangel Michael wants you to know this. You passed more tests than you realize. You survived what should have cried you. And now, heaven is honoring the endurance you thought went unnoticed. Spiritual tests also expose hidden allegiances. During seasons of delay, what you cling to becomes evident. Do you hold on to God or give way to bitterness? Do you worship or wither? Do you trust or retreat? These are the refining fires that reveal the gold in your spirit. The delay wasn't a prison, it was a classroom. And now that the lessons have been completed, promotion is at hand. Archangel Michael is proclaiming the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. The task season is closing. The activation season is here. I am graduating to get blessing 7,586. Understand this. God is not in a hurry. He operates in perfect timing. What feels slow to you is precisely measured by eternity. And the moment you align with that truth, impatience breaks off. You begin to walk with confidence, knowing that nothing can truly be delayed unless God allows it. And if He allows it, it's always for your good. This is the mindset that shifts atmospheres. This is the posture that unlocks heaven's best. Archangel Michael is pleading because so many lose their inheritance at the brink of their breakthrough. They grow weary in the waiting. But you are not one of them. You've endured too much, fought through too many storms, and held onto your faith through too many dark nights to give up now. What's coming is greater than what you've lost. The release that's approaching will make the wait worth it. You are stepping into the suddenly season, but only because you survived the not yet. And that is something the enemy hoped would never happen. But here you are, awake, alive, and aligned, ready to walk into everything heaven has preserved for you. If this word has touched your spirit and stirred a fresh sense of boldness within, we invite you to respond with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to continue offering prophetic insight, comfort, and strength to those navigating the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also give through PayPal by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every gift, no matter the size, helps us reach more hearts with messages of hope, truth, and encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to spirit-led direction, timely revelation, and words of life designed to uplift you in every season. Type I'm stepping forward to get blessing 6674. Now that you stand at the edge of breakthrough, Archangel Michael must speak clearly, boldly, and directly to your spirit. Your inheritance will not come by accident. It is activated by alignment and access. The time of waiting passively is over. This is the hour for you to move decisively. The door is open, but you must walk through it. You've been shown glimpses of the life that awaits you, peace that doesn't break, provision that doesn't run dry, purpose that sets others free. These are not fantasies. These are facts in the spirit. And Archangel Michael is here with divine steps you must follow to receive them now. Step 1. Release what no longer serves your future. Your inheritance cannot rest in a cluttered heart. Whether it's relationships, habits, limiting beliefs, or shame from the past, whatever holds you emotionally hostage is blocking the flow of heaven. The Spirit is gentle but strategic, and He will not pour new wine into old wineskins. You must cleanse the vessel. Every time you let go of what's draining you, you create room for what's divine. There are things you've been trying to carry into the next season that simply do not fit. This is not punishment, it's protection. Some doors must close for the gates of inheritance to swing wide open. Step 2. Speak what heaven has spoken over you. Prophetic declarations are more than affirmations. They are spiritual weapons. You must begin saying out loud what God has already said about you. I am chosen. I am royal. I am walking in divine timing. My inheritance is being released now. When you speak like heaven, you start to think like heaven. And when your mind aligns with the mind of Christ, your path begins to shift quickly. Archangel Michael is standing in agreement with your voice. Speak boldly and you'll begin to see rapidly. Type I am speaking life to get blessing 8199. Step 3. Anoint your space. What surrounds you spiritually affects what's released to you physically. It's time to cleanse your home, your room, your work area, wherever you dwell most frequently. Light a candle in worship. Pray over your doorposts. Declare the presence of God in every corner. When you do this, you create portals of clarity and blessing. Angels move through spaces that are prepared. If you've been feeling stuck, foggy, or restless, it may be environmental. Archangel Michael is ready to fill the atmosphere with the fragrance of breakthrough, but he needs your invitation. Step 4. Write the vision again. You had dreams that died in the delay, promises that dimmed because time stretched too long. But it's time to write what was lost. Get your journal. Write as if the delay never happened. Heaven honors your words. And the moment you write with faith, angels are assigned to accelerate the fulfillment. This is not fantasy. This is prophetic alignment. Your scroll was never canceled, just waiting for you to hold the pen again. Write, and watch what heaven will do. Type I am rewriting my scroll to get blessing 5590. Step 5. Sow into the future you desire. This is not just about money, it's about intention. Sowing includes time, obedience, service, forgiveness, and yes, financial acts led by the Spirit. Archangel Michael is not asking for a sacrifice to burden you, but to break the spiritual law of stagnancy. When you sow with faith, heaven multiplies. When you give with intention, destiny responds. The enemy fights your sowing because he knows it triggers supernatural flow. But you must press past fear and act boldly. Your seed today births your harvest tomorrow. Step 6. Act immediately. Delay is the enemy of breakthrough. When you receive a word from heaven, the faster you respond, the stronger the release. If you wait too long, the energy of the moment begins to fade. That's why this message was sent in divine urgency. It's not just about what you read. It's about what you do right after reading it. Your actions speak faith, and faith always attracts fulfillment. Archangel Michael is standing by, ready to release the next level, but heaven waits for your movement. Type I am taking action to get blessing 7041. You're not powerless, you're positioned. And every instruction you follow unlocks more favor. This isn't complicated. It's sacred. And the spiritual world is extremely responsive to obedience. Right now, in this very moment, heaven is waiting for your yes. Not a hesitant yes, but a full-bodied, fire-filled, all in surrender to divine timing and inheritance. You are the one heaven chose for this time. You are the one your ancestors prayed would rise. Don't let another moment pass in hesitation. Follow the steps. Trust the guidance. Watch what unfolds when you move. Type I'm all in to get blessing 9902. There is a deeper reason why you are feeling this spiritual urgency right now, because what you're stepping into is not only for you. You are the carrier of a generational torch, one that has been passed through your lineage, often in silence and struggle. There were those before you who were called, but could not answer. They lacked the freedom, the understanding, the strength, or the timing to claim what was rightfully theirs. But now heaven has chosen you to be the breaker of that cycle. Archangel Michael is not just guarding your destiny. He is standing to restore everything that was stolen from your bloodline. You were born into a story already in progress, hidden in your family tree or victories never completed, prayers never answered, promises never fulfilled. These were not lost by heaven, but interrupted by spiritual interference, wounds, and generational agreements that blocked inheritance. The enemy has used bloodline curses, repeated trauma, addiction, broken marriages, poverty, mental instability, and cycles of fear to keep your family locked out of fullness. But your arrival, your awakening, marks a divine turning point. You are the redemption link. You are the restoration key. Archangel Michael is revealing that much of what you faced hasn't been solely your battle. It has been inherited warfare. What felt like random setbacks were actually old strongholds resurrecting to challenge the one soul in the bloodline brave enough to rise. Every delay, every conflict, every emotional wound has been connected to a larger war for restoration. But now, divine justice is being enacted. Heaven has recorded the thefts, the betrayals, the missed breakthroughs, and now, a divine restoration is being authorized. Through you. Type I am the chain breaker to get blessing 8711. You are being called not just to heal forward, but to heal backward. When you step into your inheritance, ancestral wounds begin to close. The chains fall not only from your wrists, but from generations past who cried out for freedom but never saw it. Your obedience becomes their redemption. Your breakthrough becomes their closure. And in return, the unfulfilled mantles, gifts, and blessings they carried are now being poured into your life. What was lost is being restored through your yes. Archangel Michael stands ready to deliver it. Think about the burdens you've carried since childhood, burdens that were never yours. Anxiety, fear, laugh, guilt, the feeling of being spiritually heavy with no clear reason. These were ancestral burdens passed down, waiting for someone who could carry them into the fire and return with gold. You are that someone. Your destiny is not just about your personal blessings, it's about generational cleansing and restoration. You are the chosen vessel through which divine reordering is taking place. You are heaven's answer to your bloodline's silent cries. Type I am the restoration to get blessing 7259. What does this restoration look like in real terms? It looks like the sudden return of joy, clarity, health, and purpose. It looks like financial overflow that generations before you never experienced. It looks like being the first to walk in emotional wholeness, to raise healed children, to speak boldly with spiritual authority, to break the silence of trauma. Restoration is not only about what's returned, it's about what's multiplied. And Archangel Michael is not returning to you what was lost in the same measure. It is coming back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But you must step into it. Restoration is not passive. It requires participation. It requires you to declare, the curses end with me. The fear ends with me. The delay ends with me. And with every declaration, angels are dispatched. Every time you choose alignment over avoidance, blessing is released. Archangel Michael is moving swiftly, and this moment, this sacred now, is when restoration takes root. But you must move, speak, and agree. You are not too late. You are exactly on time to restore everything that was stolen. Type I am the harvest to get blessing 6904. There are two clocks running at all times, the clock of the world and the clock of heaven. And the reason you've often felt frustrated or disoriented is because you've been trying to synchronize your life with worldly timing instead of divine timing. But now, Archangel Michael is bringing revelation. Your destiny can only be unlocked by aligning with heaven's rhythm. The blessings you seek, the clarity you crave, the inheritance marked with your name, they don't respond to panic, pressure, or performance. They respond to spiritual sensitivity and surrender to divine timing. Spiritual sensitivity is not a gift for the elite. It's a requirement for the chosen. And you, beloved, are chosen. That unease you feel when something isn't right. That sudden burst of energy in your spirit during prayer. That holy hesitation before you make a big decision. Those are not random emotions. They are signals from the spirit realm. The Holy Spirit hath been speaking, and Archangel Michael has been confirming. But until now, the volume was low because you were not tuned in. This is your call to tune your frequency to heaven's wavelength and become radically aware of divine timing. In divine timing, things can shift in an instant. What looked like delay yesterday can become sudden acceleration today. But if you're not spiritually sensitive, you'll miss the windows. Heaven opens moments, not just seasons. You must discern the kairos, a Greek word meaning the right time, the opportune moment. Archangel Michael is standing in front of one of those kairos moments for you now. He is waving his flaming sword over your path, saying, "Now is the time. Move now. Obey now. Pray now. Break now. Sow now. Speak now." Because windows don't stay open forever. Type "I am aligned with heaven" to get blessing 7,860. Think of all the times you almost moved when God whispered, but fear told you to wait. Those moments may seem small, but in the spirit realm, they were major. They were crossroads disguised as casual choices. Spiritual sensitivity sharpens your ability to detect such moments. It teaches you not to ignore the nudge. It reminds you that destiny doesn't arrive in fireworks, but in obedience to whispers. If you want to live under open heavens, you must become sensitive to spiritual cues. Archangel Michael is confirming that many of the blessings waiting on you have already been released. But your spiritual timing must catch up. This is why stillness matters. The enemy keeps your life noisy on purpose. Constant distraction, endless scrolling, emotional chaos, all designed to drown out the divine frequency. Let your next instruction when come from the crowd, it will come in the quiet. Heaven often speaks in whispers, because God is not trying to impress your mind. He's calling your spirit. The next divine instruction for your breakthrough will not scream. It will stir. Then you must make room in your soul to hear it. Create time. Protect your energy. Guard your atmosphere. Because when heaven speaks, your future is being scripted in real time. Type "I am listening" to get blessing 8033. This is also the hour to make your steps prophetic, not impulsive. In other words, let your actions reflect spiritual discernment, not desperation. Many miss divine appointments because they confuse movement with alignment. But not every open door is God's door. Not every opportunity is heaven sent. You must test the spirit of what comes before you. Archangel Michael is assigned to help you discern this, to whisper, "This one is for you," or wait. But you must learn to pause long enough to listen. Rushing may feel productive, but spiritual destiny unfolds in revelation, not in haste. As you become spiritually sensitive, you'll start to see things before they happen. Your spirit will feel shifts before your mind can explain them. You'll dream differently. You'll feel people's energy. You will walk into rooms and know whether they are aligned or toxic. And all of this is necessary because your next steps must be surgical. One wrong agreement can delay you. One missed moment can set you back. But one act of obedience, perfectly timed, can unlock 10 years of favor in a moment. If this word has touched your spirit and stirred a fresh sense of boldness within, we invite you to respond with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to continue offering prophetic insight, comfort, and strength to those navigating the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also give through PayPal by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every gift, no matter the size, helps us reach more hearts with messages of hope, truth, and encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to spirit-led direction, timely revelation, and words of life designed to uplift you in every season. Type "I'm moving in timing" to get blessing 7,112. Every divine calling requires divine connections. No destiny unfolds in isolation. God has never intended for you to walk this journey alone. There are people, prepared and positioned by heaven, who carry keys to unlock the next level of your life. Archangel Michael is moving now to align these divine partnerships, to remove imposters and release destiny helpers. You've had seasons of betrayal and abandonment, not because you were unworthy of love or support, but because the wrong people had to exit before the right ones could enter. Your table is being reset, and those meant to walk with you are on the way. Some of the people heaven is about to send won't look like what you expect. They won't flatter you. They'll challenge you. They won't tolerate your delay. They'll push you forward. They won't be comfortable. They'll be necessary. These are not emotional companions. They are spiritual catalysts. They will see in you what you've ignored in yourself. They will speak life when you feel weak. They are not assigned to your comfort zone. They are assigned to your crown. Archangel Michael is orchestrating divine meetings in this very hour, so you must begin to pray for eyes to recognize them. But for these divine alignments to manifest, there must be spiritual discernment. You've been burned before, used before, emotionally manipulated before, and that has made your heart guarded. But be careful not to shut out those sent by God because of the wounds inflicted by those sent by the enemy. Every counterfeit connection was designed to poison your trust so that when real covenant came, you would reject it. Archangel Michael is bringing healing to your heart because your next season requires partnership. You were never meant to carry this assignment alone. Even Jesus needed disciple. Type I am ready for alignment to get blessing 8990. In this next season, heaven will place you in rooms where your name is already known in the Spirit. People will be drawn to your essence, not your resume. Doors will open not because of who you know, but because of who you are in the Spirit. But you must not downplay your anointing to make others comfortable. You must not shrink to fit into places you've outgrown spiritually. The right people will be intimidated by your light. They'll help you protect it. The right voices won't compete with your calling. They'll celebrate it. You've experienced loneliness because God has been protecting you from connections that would have drained your oil. There are some people who are only attracted to the version of you that stays small. That's why God had to pull you into a season of isolation, to refine your discernment and teach you the difference between covenant and convenience. Archangel Michael confirms, the isolation was not punishment, it was purification. Now that the season is shifting, you're about to see new doors open through relationships that carry spiritual signatures. You'll feel it immediately. This person is sent. Type I receive my tribe to get blessing 6547. Divine partnerships are not limited to friendships or romantic relationships. They come in many forms: mentors, intercessors, kingdom collaborators, even strangers who speak one sentence that changes everything. Be open. Be watchful. Be sensitive. You never know who carries the confirmation you've been praying for. And don't assume it must be grand. Many divine connections begin in small, quiet ways. What matters is not how they appear, but how they resonate with your spirit. Ask God to sharpen your spirit to know who's for you, who's against you, and who's just an assignment for a season. But also, prepare to become the divine connection someone else is praying for. Destiny partnership flows both ways. You're not just receiving help, you're becoming a helper. Someone is waiting on your obedience, your wisdom, your testimony. Archangel Michael is not just bringing people to you, he's preparing others to meet you. And the alignment will be undeniable. What took years will accelerate in days. What once felt heavy will become light again. Because when divine partnerships lock arms, the enemy's hold breaks. Top I walk in divine connection to get blessing 7669. You have now reached the threshold, the edge of spiritual fulfillment. Everything until this point had been divine preparation. Every word, every revelation, every stirring in your soul was heaven's way of guiding you here. And now Archangel Michael stands before you once again, not with a whisper, but with a roar from the throne room. Seal it now. Seal it with your yes. Because your inheritance, which has waited in the spirit for years, cannot remain in limbo. The window is open, and heaven is watching for your response. This is not symbolic. This is a moment of transaction. This is where destinies are either fully embraced or drift into another season of delay. Not because God withholds, but because the Spirit must agree. You are at the point of convergence, where prayer meets purpose, where alignment meets assignment. The next step requires not just intention, but spiritual signature. Archangel Michael has prepared the scroll, the gates are open, and the angels of fulfillment are at attention. But your voice, your surrender, your willingness to seal what's been revealed, this is what unlocks it all. This is the final agreement between your soul and heaven's design. So what does it mean to seal it? It means you act as if it's done. You live, pray, and decide like you are already walking in your inheritance. You stop second-guessing your calling. You stop deferring your healing. You stop negotiating with delay. You wake up tomorrow and move like someone who has received. You are not waiting, you are walking. You are not hoping, you are holding. Heaven moves not just with faith, but with follow-through. And the angels are waiting to act on your confirmation. Type I seal my inheritance to get blessing 9,900. The reason many never receive what was truly theirs is because they hovered too long in the space between knowing and activating. But you, beloved, are not like them. You've come this far. You've endured the process. You've cried through the pages. You've felt your spirit shake with confirmation. This is your burning bush moment. This is your divine yes. And we're ready tomorrow. The scroll is before you, and heaven's pen is ready to mark this day as the day everything shifted. Archangel Michael is commanding the release, but only your yes can complete it. Make no mistake, this isn't about feelings, it's about faith. You may not feel different yet, but that's the very nature of breakthrough. It doesn't wait for emotions, it responds to obedience. Your yes might feel small, but it reverberates through the heavens. When you say, I receive it, angels begin to move. Strongholds begin to shatter. Relationships realign. Resources are released. Your name is echoed in spiritual courts where favor is assigned. It all begins when you agree. Not halfway, not with doubt, but with fire in your bones and certainty in your soul. Type I receive it fully to get blessing 7,425. And understand, this is not just about a moment. It's about a marking. When you seal your inheritance in the Spirit, something shifts permanently. The enemy no longer has access to delay you in the same way. The cycles of sabotage lose power. Your bloodline begins to reroute. The atmosphere around your name begins to carry weight. You no longer walk into rooms the same. You carry a divine signature, a presence that causes people to take notice. Why? Because you have aligned with your divine identity. And Archangel Michael now surrounds you with an angelic guard. This sealing is your sacred contract. The choice to never shrink again. The refusal to doubt what you know heaven has spoken. The internal vow that says, I'm going all in, no matter what it looks like in the natural. You will not let circumstances tell you who you are. Your scroll already did. And from this moment on, you don't walk alone. Heaven walks with you. The Lion of Judah goes before you. The host of angels surrounds you. And your name is being written into this season's divine blueprint for release, acceleration, and multiplication. Type I am sealed and sent to get blessing 8316. The moment your spirit says yes, fully, boldly, and without delay, a shift begins. Not always visible in the physical at first, but undeniably felt in the atmosphere around you. The weight you've carried for so long begins to lift. Clarity begins to push through the fog. And most importantly, the divine machinery of heaven begins to move in your favor. Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Saying yes was not the end of this journey. It was the ignition. Now comes the part where you live like someone who has already won the war in the spirit. Everything you do from this moment must reflect the spiritual authority you've reclaimed. Speak differently. Walk differently. Pray differently. Decide differently. You no longer live at the mercy of the storm. You are now the one heaven sends into storms to command peace. Your presence carries prophetic weight. Your words shift the atmosphere. Your mind is not a battlefield. It is a blueprint. This is the power that comes after you say yes. It doesn't mean trials disappear. It means they now respond to you differently. Because the version of you that's rising is covered, crowned, and called. Archangel Michael is walking beside you still, but now he marches with you, not to rescue, but to partner. The angels don't pity the obedient, they empower them. You are no longer under the shadow of delay, fear, or uncertainty. Those forces may try to circle back, but you now have the tools to crush them every time. Remember, favor is not a feeling, it's a realm. When you step into your inheritance, you don't visit favor, you live in it. It becomes your new home, your new normal, your new dimension. Type I walk in favor to get blessing 8444. One of the most powerful ways to sustain this divine shift is by protecting your atmosphere. Be intentional with what you allow around you. Words, people, habits, everything must now align with your future. You are no longer entertaining old versions of yourself or tolerating what weakens your faith. Archangel Michael is reminding you, what you tolerate will remain. What you confront will flee. You have been given divine authority not just to break chains, but to maintain your freedom. That is the spiritual maturity this next season demands. Walking in sustained favor also means choosing boldness over busyness. You don't need to prove your worth with constant movement. The anointing on your life is not earned through activity, it flows through alignment. Boldness means you no longer second-guess what God already confirmed. Boldness means you pray out loud. You speak what you hear. You obey without delay. Boldness means you become a steward of glory, not just a survivor of battles. This is who you are now. You don't beg. You declare. You don't hide. You shine. You don't wonder. You know. Type I am walking in boldness to get blessing 9091. The fruit of this shift will be undeniable. Doors will open with ease. Conversations will carry confirmation. Strangers will speak to you like they've met you in a dream. You'll see signs in places you never expected, license plates, numbers, songs, texts, timestamps. The spirit realm will begin communicating with you more frequently because you've proven you're awake. The volume of heaven will increase, and you will no longer miss what's been assigned to you. This is not fantasy. This is the real realm you were always meant to live in. But favor must be fed. Feed it with faith. Nurture it with discipline. Protect it with boundaries. And celebrate it daily. When you honor what God is doing, He increases it. When you steward favor with humility and obedience, He multiplies it. Archangel Michael is not leaving. He is expanding His assignment around you. Now that the scroll is unsealed, your movement affects multitudes. You are not walking in circles anymore, you're walking in divine patterns. Type I am living in the shift to get blessing 6333. Beloved, the heavens have spoken. Archangel Michael has sounded the trumpet. You are no longer standing at the crossroads. You have stepped into divine motion. This is the moment where the spirit realm acknowledges your agreement. What was once delayed is now being delivered. What felt lost is being restored. And what seemed impossible is already being written into your life in real time. You are no longer bound by yesterday. You are moving in a new spiritual era, an era of inheritance, fire, favor, and fulfillment. You must understand this deeply. Nothing will ever be the same. The invisible chains that held your spirit hostage have been shattered. The veil has been torn, and you have access, true access, to the scroll of your life. Your destiny has been unlocked because your heart opened in time. Archangel Michael has sealed this moment with angelic decree. From this point forward, you are not who you were. You are the awakened, the aligned, the anointed. You carry the sound of heaven, and every step you take will echo with the authority of divine purpose. Walk boldly. Walk expectantly. Begin to prophesy over your days. Speak over your mornings. Command the atmosphere around you to bow to the Spirit of God within you. This isn't hype. It's holy. You've been through the fire. You've battled the silence. You've endured the delays. And now, beloved, the tables have turned. What once hunted you, now flees from you. What once resisted you, now yields to your voice. Because your voice is no longer just your own. It's partnered with the throne of heaven. Your name has been etched into this moment of divine history. Heaven bears witness. The angels rejoice. And the Spirit of God says, "Well done, child. You have chosen rightly. Now watch what I will do. Let this be your song. Let this be your shift. Let this be your sealed season of supernatural movement. You are ready. If this word has touched your spirit and stirred a fresh sense of boldness within, we invite you to respond with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to continue offering prophetic insight, comfort, and strength to those navigating the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also give through PayPal by clicking the support here link in the video description. Every gift, no matter the size, helps us reach more hearts with messages of hope, truth, and encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to Spirit-led direction, timely revelation, and words of life designed to uplift you in every season. Type I am sealed in glory to get blessing 9699.